Adi had been dealing with non-stop knocking inside his home for weeks, sharp sounds that ruined his sleep and made every small creak feel threatening. Night after night, the paranormal activity seemed to grow stronger, and the unsettling noises began to wear him down. On this particular night, he finally got fed up and decided to get out of bed and confront whatever was causing it. The video starts with him stepping out of his bedroom and following the loud banging echoing down the hallway. He quickly traced the noise to the bathroom door. Something behind it was slamming violently against the wood. Heart racing, he pushed the door open, only to find the room empty. He switched on the light to double-check, but nothing was disturbed. Just as he began to calm down, a heavy thud came from the kitchen like an object had been knocked to the ground. He rushed in and found something on the floor that hadn't been there moments earlier. Breathing hard, he filmed everything, clearly shaken, and later admitted he didn't know how much longer he could stay in the house. The next night, determined to finally catch proof of the haunting, Adi set up a camera while he tried to sleep. Around 2 a.m., the knocking started again, repeating in the same relentless rhythm. But this time, the camera recorded something new, the distant sound of a cat meowing. Seconds later, the cat walked into frame, yet the knocking continued near the bathroom door, as if a ghost or demonic entity was pacing behind it. The bangs echoed through the hallway, while the cat stood frozen, staring. When Adi reviewed the footage the next morning, he admitted the mix of the meows and knocks felt deeply wrong, almost like the noises were reacting to each other. Wanting stronger evidence, he set up a camera downstairs before leaving for work, leaving the TV playing quietly to attract whatever was haunting the house. When he returned and checked the recording, what he found sent chills down his spine. In the middle of the day, when nobody was home, a dark shadow figure darted across the living room, streaking from one corner to the other. It happened fast, almost a blur. Moments later, the rug tucked behind the couch was yanked down and landed perfectly across the cushions, followed by a cupboard door slowly swinging open on its own. A few seconds after that, something fell off the kitchen counter out of view of the camera, crashing loudly. Watching the footage, Adi admitted it was the clearest supernatural activity he had ever captured. The fact that everything happened while he wasn't home made it even more disturbing, like the entity was becoming more confident. He later confessed he wasn't sure if he wanted to keep recording, because the more evidence he caught, the more aggressive the haunting became. Before we jump into our next terrifying video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell, so you'll be the first to know whenever we upload something new. Now let's get back to our next video. The clip opens with the sound of heavy, nervous breathing. A man films from his bed, his phone slightly trembling as he holds it up. From the lower floor, a woman's voice repeatedly calls out, "Babe, come downstairs," each time sounding sharper and more demanding.
Dave, come downstairs. Dave, come downstairs. Dave, come downstairs.
There's no way Emma decided to
Dave, come downstairs.
at 3 in the morning and there's something slamming at the door.
Come downstairs. Dave.
What the Alexa, turn on all lights.
I couldn't find any enabled video skills.
Really?
To do that. Go to the Alexa
Thanks,
app
Alexa.
to manage your video skills and devices.
Suddenly, a doorway can be heard opening and closing somewhere in the house. The man freezes. He knows for certain that no one else should be home. The video then jumps to the downstairs security camera, showing a door in the hallway swinging open by itself before slowly shutting once more. The woman's voice goes silent, replaced by something even more disturbing. A faint, eerie tune that sounds like it's coming from a child's toy. The man's phone shakes as he frantically scans his dark bedroom, the soft melody repeating over and over through the silence. He doesn't speak again, simply records the looping, toy-like song until the video ends abruptly, leaving viewers questioning whether the voice calling him downstairs was ever human. The next scene reveals Ali's prayer mat, and he begins explaining in a low, uneasy voice that the strange incident occurred while he was praying. That same dollhouse-like melody from earlier has returned, now coming from a small music box sitting on a shelf nearby.
Guys, I was just praying and the music box just started playing by itself. Can you do that again? Nope. Nope. Nope, nope, nope.
The camera zooms in as the box plays by itself, untouched. The gentle mechanical tune echoes through the room, filling the air with unsettling tension. Ali's breathing becomes shaky, and he whispers a prayer before leaning forward again. He films the music box continuing to play even though it was never wound. When it finally stops, he repeats his prayer 3 more times, visibly frightened but trying to maintain control. He later admits that whatever is haunting his home doesn't seem interested in leaving, and he's now considering bringing in a spiritual healer or religious figure to cleanse the place of the demonic presence. This boy always had the unsettling feeling that something was watching him whenever he tried to sleep. He insisted that a shadow figure would appear in his bedroom at night, standing still in the darkness. But like most parents, his mom and dad brushed it off as nightmares or an overactive imagination, telling him to relax and go back to sleep. After weeks of reporting the same ghostly presence, his mother finally agreed to let him keep his phone next to his bed so he could prove what he was seeing. That decision is what allowed him to capture the horrifying footage that follows.
Bang? Abang? Bang, sini bang. Bang? Itu apa tadi bang? Itu. Tadi ada hitam-hitam di situ bang. Ada hitam-hitam di situ bang.
The video begins with the boy holding his hand close to his face, trying to focus on it. According to him, Whenever the supernatural entity is nearby, his vision becomes blurry and a wave of dizziness hits him hard, so he concentrates on his hand to stay grounded. Here's the disturbing twist. While his eyes are struggling to focus, the phone records everything in perfect clarity. He slowly turns the camera toward the doorway, and that's when he captures it. A tall, unnerving shadow figure standing by the door, perfectly still as if waiting for him to notice. Just like he always described, the boy panics, calls out for his mom, and by the time she runs into the room, the figure is gone. But this time, he has undeniable proof. Blurred vision and dizziness are common symptoms reported during paranormal activity, often linked to electromagnetic fluctuations or a demonic presence affecting the body. And the dark mass caught on video fits the description of a classic shadow person, entities known to appear as solid figures and vanish the moment someone reacts. For weeks, his parents dismissed it as imagination, but now they can't deny the truth. The nightmare was real, and whatever was watching him wasn't just a dream. The question no one wants to answer is, what has this shadow been waiting for? A man named Ray chose to spend the night inside one of the most haunted hotels in Texas, a location whispered to be soaked in dark, supernatural energy. He rented the room everyone avoids, the one stuffed with porcelain dolls that seem to follow you with their lifeless eyes, no matter where you stand. While scanning the room, one particular doll stood out. It sat propped on a tiny old toy vehicle, like someone tried to make a strange display out of it. Ray thought he saw the doll shift slightly and began recording. What he captured left him frozen in place.
This doll just moved. This doll is moving. This doll literally just moved.
The doll's head slowly rotated until its cold glass eyes locked directly onto him, as if acknowledging his presence. The movement was small but undeniably real, and the doll's face looked disturbingly human, far too detailed for a normal toy. Ray said he couldn't stay there after that moment. The silence became thick with dread, almost alive, and even through the camera, the doll's expression looked aware, like it knew exactly what it had done. A man named Eric Gunner, who has been documenting disturbing paranormal activity for years. Just like many nights before, he is abruptly pulled from sleep by unsettling noises echoing from the lower level of the house. Most nights, Eric forces himself to investigate.
What did you need me for?
Eso que suena es el tren, ¿eh? No se expanden. Pues la neta, ¿para qué lo despierto, no? Esta miedo me da asomarme, la neta. ¿Hola?
But once again, he finds absolutely nothing. No source for the haunting sounds, no person, no trick of the light. Just that same oppressive silence. Confused and uneasy, he heads back upstairs.
No le vaya a pasar algo también allá arriba.
Moments later, a sudden violent crash echoes through the house, pushing him to check again, one last time, and he records what happens next.
¿Hola? ¿Hola? Chinga tu madre. Ay, Dios mío. Ya vamos a empezar con problemas. Hola. O mejor ni le hablo ya.
A dark shadow figure appears to be standing in his kitchen as if watching him from a distance. From the way he reacts, it seems Eric also spotted the supernatural presence in real time. He quickly retreats toward the stairs, clearly shaken. This demonic entity has been tormenting him for countless nights, and nobody knows if Eric plans to fight back or escape this haunting for good.
Chinga tu madre. Ay, Dios mío.
A man and a woman decided to investigate an abandoned farmhouse known by locals for intense paranormal activity and terrifying stories. They weren't just casual ghost enthusiasts either. They arrived with full gear, ready to document any supernatural strange event they could. According to the caption, this wasn't their first visit. They had come back with a new camera they had recently purchased. They admitted they hadn't figured out all the settings yet, but promised that upcoming videos would feature clearer footage, night vision, and better evidence of haunting.
We have the EMF in here too. And I just set this guy up here.
Can catch it if it works. Maybe that.
While positioning themselves in front of the camera to begin filming, something terrifying occurred. Just for a fraction of a second, a shadow entity appeared in the window behind them before instantly disappearing.
Where's it gonna catch it if it works? Maybe that. Where's it gonna catch it if it works? Maybe. Where's it gonna catch it if it works? Maybe that.
It happened so quickly that many people didn't notice it at first. But when the clip is slowed down, you can clearly make out the shape of a ghost-like figure. The fact that neither of them realized what was taking place directly behind them made it even more unsettling. And, with the promise of sharper footage in their next investigations, this encounter was only the start of what could be a deeply frightening series. Josh stopped by a small roadside diner for a quick bite, and after eating, headed to the restroom. Nothing felt strange at first. It was a quiet, dimly lit space with only the muffled noise of the kitchen bleeding through the walls. After finishing up, he washed his hands and was getting ready to leave, when a sudden chill crawled up his back, the uneasy sensation that someone unseen was standing behind him. Seconds later, the tap on one of the sinks suddenly switched on by itself, water pouring out for a few moments before stopping again. Startled and curious, Josh pulled out his phone to record, slowly panning across the empty bathroom as he searched for any sign of paranormal activity.
Jesus Christ.
For a short time, nothing happened. Only the steady hum of the ventilation fan and the sound of Josh shifting his weight on the tile floor. Then, without any warning, the faucet blasted on again, spraying water into the basin before turning off on its own. That was all Josh needed to see. He grabbed his belongings, pushed open the door, and hurried out of the restroom in a rush. He figured it was better to wait until he was home than risk another supernatural encounter with whatever ghost or entity was in there. While exploring an abandoned boarding house, this guy received a tip that something strange was going on inside. Multiple people warned him specifically about the third-floor balcony, so he headed up to see for himself. What he experienced there nearly made his heart stop.
Sebenarnya itu beta sim takut guys. Selagi dia tidak berwujud, beta pun sim takut. Merinding. Beta pernah live sini tapi sini beta paling takut cok. Ini di balkon 3 di lantai 3. Oke guys, sekian. Anjing.
Whatever supernatural energy he encountered inside that building didn't stay behind. It almost felt like something attached itself to him.
Anjing.
Because after that trip, every time he tried to sleep, he was tormented by bizarre and unexplained paranormal activity.
Cuma begitu sah. Keluar wujud kah? Kalau cuma begini juga, beta juga bisa. Sudah di sebelah mana? Supaya beta jalan kau sih. Cuma bagian-bagian seorangnya sintaku. Tenang. Sibur jatuh guys. Mau mandi ke apa? Weh anjing.
The more he engaged engaged with it, the worse it became. Sure, anyone can stage objects falling or moving, but his room is huge and completely empty, no place for someone to hide or pull a trick. Once he realized he was truly alone, the activity escalated aggressively.
Rice cooker, cuy. Maksudnya
One moment, a biscuit tin sits untouched. The next, the lid flips open by itself. Whatever is haunting him clearly has an appetite. This poltergeist looks like it's hunting for snacks. Before you jump to fishing line, take a look at the room, wide open. Nothing to hide behind. No way to set up some prank without being completely exposed. So what's really happening here? Is he living with a hungry ghost, or it is something else? What are your thoughts on this one? Let me know in the comments down below. C's Crazy Crossroads, a well-known ghost hunter with over 50,000 followers, returned with another chilling investigation from the same haunted property. He gave a quick recap for new viewers, reminding them that this was the notorious contractor's haunted house, a location where he had already witnessed disturbing paranormal activity in previous visits. But on this trip, the supernatural presence felt much harder to overlook.
I love it. After it's all said and done, I'm very happy when stuff happens, but in the moment, it's not fun. Oh, that son of a that was me. All right, I don't know if you guys heard that. It was it sounded like a door shaking or something. As I was talking man, what is going on in here? What happened in this house? Maybe it's just the people that have passed on here don't want anybody coming in their house because it's been sitting for so long. Maybe they're still here. Listen. It's right here. It's right here.
While recording, a series of loud knocks echoed through the hall, followed by an eerie rattling noise coming from somewhere nearby. He sprinted toward the sound with the camera still filming, determined to expose whatever entity was causing it. Yet every room was empty. Just as he began to relax, the noise started again, this time above him, like something or someone was moving around in the attic. With no one else inside the house and no logical explanation for the activity, the atmosphere grew intense. Viewers agreed it was one of his most convincing captures yet, and many believe the haunting is far from over.